This Vietnamese girl has some serious guts. She knows this is a cursed well, yet she leans down and reaches out to grab something. Actually, she is trying to pull out a fingernail stuck in a crack in the stone. But suddenly, a terrifying scene unfolds. A ghostly hand shoots out from inside the well and drags the girl straight down into the deep darkness. Let's see what happens next. This Korean movie is not just any average film. It has scenes that will shake you to your core. The first protagonist of the story is this girl, and her name is Ah-chai. This girl with short hair looks quite pretty, but the problem is that everyone in Korea is so beautiful that everyone feels tension about their own looks. Ah-chai thinks her nose isn't sharp or beautiful enough. She asks her friend about plastic surgery, but her friend reveals it will cost 4 million won, which is nearly $2,000. Hearing this amount puts Ah-chai in shock, as she could live on that money for 6 months. Right at that moment, a delivery boy arrives with a parcel. Ah-chai goes to her flat on the 6th floor and sees a parcel lying in the corridor labeled Guaranteed Beauty in big letters. She starts to walk away at first, but changes her mind, comes back, steals that parcel from in front of flat 604 and takes it into her own home. Apparently, there's a distinct pleasure in opening someone else's package. Just as Ah-chai is about to open the parcel, the doorbell rings. A girl standing outside the door like a ghost whispers and asks if she took her parcel by mistake. Ah-chai flatly denies it right to her face. This makes the girl outside angry and she starts cursing. Ah-chai looks through the peephole and startles as the girl outside has huge eyes, looking exactly like a cartoon. After the girl leaves, Ah-chai finally opens the parcel. Inside, there is a paper human face and a fake nose. Ah-chai gets curious, picks up the nose, and applies it to her own nose without thinking. A magical event begins as soon as she puts it on. There is intense pain for a few seconds, but after wiping away the blood, the fake nose seems to have blended perfectly with her real skin. Ah-chai looks at herself in the mirror and is mesmerized by how beautiful she is now. The next morning, Ah-chai wakes up in love with her new appearance, feeling absolutely wonderful. But while getting into the elevator, an uninvited guest blocks her path. We will call this girl in the red dress the Lady in Red. The Lady in Red looks at Ah-chai and says, "You live in 603, right?" Ah-chai gives no reply, thinking to herself, "What is it to you?" After arriving at the office, Ah-chai becomes the center of attention. Her colleagues realize something has changed in Ah-chai, and she looks like a movie star now. Although she doesn't say it out loud, Ah-chai feels incredibly happy inside. While returning home after work at night, she sees another parcel in front of flat 604. Since she got away with it the last time, she steals the parcel again without hesitation and brings it home. 2 eyes are glowing inside the box this time. Before Ah-chai can understand anything, thousands of tentacles come out from those fake eyes and pierce into her own eyes. This gruesome scene is the process of making her even more beautiful. Although it stings a little at first, her black irises have now turned into green cat eyes, making her even more attractive. When a person becomes beautiful, their confidence increases as well. Ah-chai then starts shopping like crazy, buys new clothes, and takes photos of herself all day as if she is truly a celebrity. But happiness does not last long because the owner of the stolen items is bound to come. It turns out that the Lady in Red is actually the neighbor from 604. The Lady in Red is completely furious now, and while banging on the door, she swears she will kill the parcel thief, Ah-chai. While speaking, she breaks down Ah-chai's door with a hammer, creating a situation exactly like the movie The Shining. Before Ah-chai can realize what is happening, the Lady in Red pushes her down. The Lady in Red screams that she didn't just buy the nose, those eyes are hers too. When the Lady in Red tries to hit Ah-chai with a spoon, Ah-chai realizes she must act now or her eyes will be gouged out. She takes a dumbbell lying nearby and hits the Lady in Red hard on the head. I guess going to the gym finally paid off. Ah-chai thinks it's all over with one blow, but the Lady in Red regains consciousness and comes at Ah-chai with the dumbbell. Seeing no other option, Ah-chai holds the hammer upside down and drives it forcefully into the Lady in Red's head. The Lady in Red's skull cracks and she dies right there. The night deepens and the entire building is silent, with only a green light glowing in flat 603.
There are bloodstains on the floor. Achai drags the corpse of the lady in red into the bathroom with great difficulty. She picks up a saw while singing a song and wonders how many pieces she should cut the body to for the perfect crime, because her beautiful face is certainly not meant for eating prison food. Now for the second part of the story. It features a high school student named Sheely. Although her friends gifted her makeup for her birthday, Sheely is upset because she did poorly in her midterm exams. Her friend tries to comfort her, but another friend teases her, saying she'll obviously fail if she watches ghost movies all day. Hearing this, that friend shows her a new technique called the Korean fox window. Making a special gesture with her fingers, she says that one can see ghosts through this. Sheely's mother is terribly worried after seeing her results. She goes to a group leader she knows and asks for a good coaching center. The woman whispers that they have a parents group that buys ghosts or spirits to improve their children's results. The rule is you have to go to room 414 of an old coaching center. Although the corridor is dark, the scene inside is even terrifying. There is a locker there with Sheely's name on it, and opening it reveals a secret door. That door leads straight into a room that looks like hell. Red lanterns are hanging there, and there is an altar in the courtyard. You have to cut your hand with a knife kept there and drop blood into a copper vessel until you pass out. After waking up, an earthen jar will be found nearby. That jar must be kept right in the middle of the bed, and the paper with the spell on it must be kept very carefully. Sheely's mother performs this horrific task for her daughter. After this, Sheely changes completely. She pays attention in class and finishes her homework at the lightning speed when she gets home. She solves math problems in the blink of an eye that she couldn't do before. Sheely actually gets full marks in the final exam. Everyone, starting from the teachers, is amazed. Sheely's friends think Sheely must have cheated. One day, while checking Sheely's school bag, they accidentally break that earthen jar. Right at that moment, blood starts dripping from Sheely's nose and her vision becomes blurry. Even stranger things happen while returning home at night. There is blood on Sheely's bag and legs, but this isn't period blood. It is the work of that ghost which has now possessed Sheely. Sheely returns home like a doll. Meanwhile, the tantric who is controlling this ghost starts black magic from afar. Sheely comes home and strangles her mother, then strangely bows her head down to the audience in respect. The mother thinks her daughter has gone mad from study pressure, so she takes her to a doctor. But the doctor says she's completely healthy and perhaps it's just a phase of her age.
Since the doctor isn't helping, the mother decides to go back to that tantric. A bigger sacrifice is needed this time. The mother cuts Sheely's nails and forcefully pulls out one of her teeth. These are needed to buy the ghost. Sheely's mother cuts her own hand for her daughter again. Actually, buying a ghost is like buying a mobile data pack. You have to recharge it when it expires. But for some reason, the work is not done properly this time, and the cut on the mother's hand bursts open and bleeds. On the other hand, inside the classroom, Sheely sees her classmates behaving very strangely. She then uses that fox window technique, and what she sees is incredible. Most of the students in the class are actually blurry or ghostly. This means many of them have bought these ghosts to pass their exams. These ghosts were actually once brilliant students who committed suicide due to study pressure, and now they are occupying the bodies of new students. The story takes a turn to another part of the city. Here we have an elderly police officer named Lao Piao, and with him is a newly joined officer named Little John. They are looking to catch a kidnapper named Ah Wei. Due to Little John's inexperience, the suspect almost slipped away, but Lao Piao does not give up. They roam the alleys of the city all night long. Finally, around 4:30 in the morning, they find the suspect's car at a desolate house. The car has that same guaranteed beauty sticker on it. They enter the house without a warrant. Flowers are blooming on a dead tree in the courtyard, which is completely impossible in April. But police are not botanists, so they don't care about that. As soon as they enter the room, they smell something rotting. Human body parts are kept in glass jars on the table. An account book says, "Eyes bought from the lady in red." Lao Piao is surprised to see this, but he doesn't call for backup because he wants to take all the credit himself. Under the quilt in the bedroom, they see a strange thing, a human body, but without limbs or head, looking somewhat like a human pig. In the bathroom, they find the remaining parts. The limbs are arranged in the bathtub like mushrooms, and the head is lying in the basin. This is the corpse of that kidnapper, Ah Wei. The body is still warm, meaning the killer is nearby. Little John is restless with fear, but Lao Piao bravely opens a secret door. They go down into a basement where thousands of parcels of package of beauty are kept. There are CCTV cameras on the wall and an operation theater enclosed in plastic. A woman's corpse is lying on the table there, with her face cut open like a flower. Just as they were wondering what to do, the lights suddenly go out. A man in white clothes rushes in through the darkness and attacks Little John, dragging him into the dark. Lao Piao fires his gun, but the man escapes. Little John is critically injured, and it looks like he won't survive. Lao Piao carries Little John out of the basement on his shoulders with great difficulty. Just then, a shadow is seen outside the door. Lao Piao looks up, and the man in white clothes is standing on the other side of the door. The strange thing is the man in white stands up again in the blink of an eye, even after getting shot. Right at that moment, the man in white standing across the door stands up again, even after getting shot. But a far more terrifying sight awaits when looking at Little John's corpse. Strange white flowers of all different colors have bloomed all over his dead body. Not just in Korea, but in Vietnam at the other end of Asia, the exact same kind of gruesome deaths have started occurring. When the police interrogate a surviving victim, it is revealed that at the root of all this is that fox window game from Korea. Those who played this game have all met with mysterious deaths. Let's rewind time a few hours and take you to an international university in Vietnam. The professor is teaching folklore or myths in the classroom, but the beautiful students sitting in the back row are not paying any attention. All their attention is focused on their makeup and grooming. The lecture is going in one ear and out the other. After class, they go to a bar to dance and sing, but even that doesn't satisfy them. Among them, a Korean student named Na Young suggests going to the forbidden forest behind the school to make a vlog, much like the Korean horror movie Gonjiam. Drunk on alcohol and craving adventure, the other two friends agree as well. The three of them cross the barbed wire fence and enter the jungle, but they fail to notice many warning talismans lying on the ground. Inside the forest, they spot a clay doll under a tree. Turning the mobile screen around reveals that it is actually something like a local deity statue. After walking exactly 7 minutes, they find an ancient well deep in the jungle that looks like the ghost from The Ring could crawl out of it at any moment. Among the friends, the girl named Xiao Tao is Vietnamese. She says there's a belief in her country that combing your hair at night summons ghosts. But the Korean girl, Na Young, says the most popular way to see ghosts in her country is the fox window. She looks at the well and makes that special gesture with her fingers. Just then, a ghostly hand reaches out from inside the well. But Na Young thinks it must be her imagination, so she ignores it. Then she starts teaching that technique to her American friend, Allie. Allie also bends her fingers with great interest and looks toward the well, and this was the last mistake of her life. As soon as Allie looked at the well, something possessed Allie. Na Young and Xiao Kao tried hard to separate Allie's fingers, but they seemed stuck together like glue. Suddenly, a ghostly wind blows them both away like dry leaves. By the time they get up to save Allie, it is already too late. Allie's face has disappeared, and only a lump of flesh or something blurry can be seen there. Saving your own life is more important than friendship in this situation, so Na Young and Xiao Tao run away and barely escape their lives. After returning to the dorm, Na Young suffers from remorse, thinking that Allie ended up this way because of her. She keeps mumbling, "I wish I had never gone there." Xiao Tao comforts her and goes to the bathroom to wash off the blood. As you know, a bathroom in a horror movie spells danger. The lights in the bathroom start flickering, and blood gushes out instead of water when she turns on the tap. Xiao Tao's body goes numb, and an invisible force forces her fingers to bend and form that fox window gesture again. As she looks in the mirror, she sees her reflection looking back at her with a demonic smile, and right then, a terrifying ghost that looks a lot like a wet mop slowly crawls out from under the toilet. Xiao Tao manages to escape from there. Since she is a local, she stays at her own home that night, but she has nightmares all night long. The next morning, she goes to the hostel to check on Na Young. She arrives to find an ambulance standing at the gate. It is not hard to guess that a major tragedy has occurred.
Going to the room, it is revealed that someone has twisted Na Young's body like a rope. The police interrogate Xiao Tao and let her go.
Xiao Tao realizes that she is the next target, so she runs to her folklore professor and explains everything. After watching the video footage, the professor says that people died in that well behind the school many years ago, so it has now become a gateway to the ghost world. Evil forces can emerge from there at any time. The professor then brings out an earthen jar to save Xiao Tao and tells her a solution. But those of us who watched the first part of the story know that this is not actually a way to survive, but a ticket to that hell. Xiao Tao follows the professor's instructions in good faith. She throws a piece of wood into the jar and starts walking toward the light. The place looks exactly like where Xiuli's mother went in the first part, with that ancient house and that sacrificial altar. As soon as Xiao Tao gets near the altar, a sorcerer suddenly grabs her. Poor Xiao Tao did not realize that her professor did not want to save her, but rather sent her to that devil as a sacrificial lamb. Now, let's get to the real story behind all of this. A mysterious tree is connected to the sorcerer or demon mentioned at the beginning of the story. A man named Uncle Jiao used to take care of this tree. His job was to water the tree every day, but he was terribly lazy, working 2 days and slacking off for 3. Yet he lied to everyone that he was taking care of it properly. That sacred tree gets angry because of this lie. One day when the wind blows, a lot of pollen starts flying out of a hole in the tree. Those who have seen Prometheus or the Alien movies know just how dangerous this is. A writer in the village named Yin notices that her courtyard is covered in yellow pollen. She picks some up to examine it and sneezes immediately. Meanwhile, the villagers start blaming Uncle Diao because the tree has suddenly dried up. Many think Diao might have intentionally killed the tree so a golf course could be built there. But the writer Yin notices that a strange boil has formed on Diao's neck. Yin returns home and discovers through research that a strange worship or human sacrifice ritual has been going on in this village for centuries. Unable to suppress her curiosity, Yin goes to that tree in the middle of the night. There she sees that sorcerer chanting spells in a strange language. Although Yin does not understand anything, she gets scared and notices small white flowers blooming on the grass as she turns to leave, but her soul nearly leaves her body when she looks closer, as those are not actually flowers, but a type of fungus growing from corpses buried underground. Trembling with fear, Yin makes a video call to her friend Achai. This Achai is the girl from the beginning of our story who became beautiful through plastic surgery. But Achai pays no attention to these absurd stories as her mind is occupied only with her beauty regimen. Since her friend dismisses her, Yin puts the phone away and goes to sleep. She wakes up from a nightmare in the middle of the night and feels an intense itching on her neck. She looks in the mirror and sees that a huge boil has formed there. As she tries to pop it, it feels as if she has just ended her own life. Just then, red lights and screams are heard outside the window. Yin goes outside and sees that the entire village has turned into a living hell. All the villagers are limping toward that dried up tree like zombies. Those deadly white flowers have bloomed on all their bodies and faces. Actually, these 5 separate stories are connected by a single thread. That monster tree is absorbing all the villagers to bring itself back to life, and the pollen from this tree has floated through the air and reached the city. Do you remember the flowers blooming on the tree beneath Achai's flat? That was a part of this evil tree. The curse reaches Achai after Yian dies. The parcel Achai stole belonged to the Lady in Red, and the Lady in Red's name was on the kidnapper Awei's list. And then there is the student Xiuli and the Vietnamese girl Xiao Tao, whose mothers or they themselves unknowingly made a deal with that evil sorcerer, who is actually a servant of the tree. This means the root of all these events is that 1,000-year-old monster tree. The tree trapped these people in various ways to drain their life force and satisfy its hunger.
Why is the tree so powerful? Perhaps only those restless souls know the answer. This brings us to the end of our bone-chilling movie explanation for today. To be honest, when Koreans make horror, it really gets inside your head. Friends, it took me several days to make this 15 to 20-minute video, and I tried to present every piece of information perfectly for you. If you enjoyed the video even a little, or if it gave you the chills, please give it a like. Your like and subscription give me so much encouragement to make the next video. Let me know in the comments, would you have touched that parcel, or would you have been curious like Xiao Tao? I will be back with an even more terrifying story in the next video. Until then, stay safe and don't even think about looking at strange parcels or wells. Goodbye.